My gosh, hi Drambeak. I don't know, I don't think you've ever been the first one here. How are you doing? I'm surprised you're not sleeping. Hi Derpy. Oh my gosh, why are there so many astral blank and glitches? I haven't even done anything yet. Let's get you in here. Let's see, we want to do this one, I think. Come on, load up. Maybe. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. There, now it should do it. Perfect. But we're gonna flip it. We want the chat on that side. Hello, hello. How are you doing, Derpy? Oh my gosh, my cord is stuck. I don't want to get it squeezed in between the chair and the bed. I don't need to ruin another cable. Today we're back to the fireplace world. I really like this one for telling the spooky stories. I think it's very atmospheric, and I honestly like the fire noise a lot. I don't know how much you guys can actually hear it. It's kind of repetitive, but it adds a little something. Today we're gonna read a story called Fleshgait. I started reading it last week, but you know, last Sunday was a little last Sunday was a little iffy. Derpy, you're doing good. You've been trying out this detective game called Shadows of Doubt. Ooh. Yeah, you can hear the fire? Thank you, Derpy. I'm glad. What's Shadows of Doubt about, though? It sounds interesting. Is it like a point-and-click game? Actually, you know what? While I'm just meeting and greeting with you all, we will bring you a little closer. I don't want to be far away if I don't have to be. Let's smooth that camera out. And we'll have it look at me, since we're just saying hi for now. We'll give a couple minutes for anyone else to trickle in who wants to, and then we'll go ahead and start the story. I'm kind of excited to read this one. It sounds like it'll be interesting. And I would have liked to have read it last week if I had been in the right mindset for it. Oh, also, Twitch fishing should be active, so let me know if it isn't. But yeah, I guess a few people have already narrated this one on YouTube also. One person called The Dark, I don't know how to pronounce it. Somnium, I think. Somnium. I think it's Somnium. Anyway, The Dark Somnium narrated this story already. I haven't listened to it. I'm going into this story blind. But I really like their narration, so if they narrated it, then it must be pretty decent. Derpy. It's a voxel sandbox game that simulates a city populated with, oh wow, a couple hundred citizens, then randomly generates crimes. That sounds really unique and interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that. I don't know if it's one I'll end up playing, but I'm definitely curious about it at the very least. Let's go ahead and start the story. And this looks like it's going to be a longer one, but if we have some extra time, maybe we'll read some SCPs or something. Oh, perfect. The fishing is active. Oh, that reminds me. I want to commission my artist to ooh, I love catching those in Animal Crossing. As I recall, they get you a good chunk of money. Oh, they weren't not that much money in this though. Only 10 gold. That's not too much. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I want to commission my artist to do some characters for oh my gosh, really? You get the same amount for a flip-flop as you do for a pike? that Oh my gosh, that seems very unbalanced. But yeah, I want to commission my artist to get drawings done of different people and themes involved with the channel, so that we can put those into the Twitch fishing. And so like someone could, for instance, catch a little derpy crow, or catch me, or I don't know, maybe Maria. I don't think Maria has a canon appearance though. She tends to change up her look a lot. But I think that'd be kind of fun. I still need to bring it up with him to make sure it's something he could and would want to do. I'm pretty sure he'll be down for it, but I do need to get a quote to see how much he'd want for it, and maybe I'll make that like a donation goal or something that we can work towards. But anyway, yeah, I'll let you guys know more when I know more. But for now, let's go ahead and start our story. So let's send you back a bit so you can see the fire. And we'll get started. The story is called Fleshgait by Empyreal Invective. Months later, I can remember all of them, down to the slightest idiosyncrasies and quirks. They were my friends, and now they're gone. There's a hole in my life where they were. Sometimes I'll remember something they said or did, and it'll hit me like a ton of bricks. They're gone now, and I'm only left with memories of them. I'm sorry for being maudlin and bringing everyone down, but I think this is the only way I can really introduce my story and explain why I feel like I have to type this out. I think that writing this is the only way I can learn to accept that. I'll try to keep these downer tendencies to myself as I'm writing all this down, but I can't make any promises. Hi, Beans. How are you doing? I feel like I haven't seen you for... I don't remember if I saw you on Friday or not. It seems like it's been a while anyway. But, yeah, last week was kind of a weird week for me stream-wise anyway, so my brain was kind of elsewhere. So maybe I just am misremembering, but how are you doing? Are you having a good day? Or did you have a good day? 'Cause it's later for you now, right? You're fully healed now? Perfect. That's good to hear. I'm glad. Derby, you feel like this is the only way to? Is it? Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of... I think it's because people feel like they need to justify why the narrator is writing this in the first place. It lends a bit of realism, I think, at least people feel like it does. And you know, that's a pretty simple one to go for. Beans, but now you... Oh no, the insomnia again. Darn. Well, maybe our story can put you to sleep if it's not too creepy. I don't know how creepy it's gonna be. It's apparently a cryptid one, so I'm really excited about it. I love cryptids. Oh my gosh, Maria, you're a sheep? Well, I don't know how that happened because I don't have any sheep blood in me, and I'm pretty sure my partner doesn't either. Maybe you were switched at birth. Oh, Beans, how's everyone doing? I'm doing pretty well. Despite last week being rather exhausting, I'm in a pretty good mood today. I got tomorrow off from work and, you know, got a lot of fun stuff going on, and I'm really excited to be doing this stream. I feel like my head is back in it now. Meow meow, I'm a cow. Y'all are very silly. I know that being the third wheel in a group can be a terrible thing, but I can think of something worse. Being the fifth wheel. If you're the third wheel, that makes your group a semi-functional tricycle. If you're the fifth wheel, you're left as some obscure car from the 50s that no one remembers or cares about. Imagine not being able to follow the in-jokes and shared history of one couple and multiply that by 2. Getting stuck as the fifth wheel is twice as bad. That was the frame of mind I had as we all piled into Ian's car to go to Gila National Forest for our hike. You said bark bark, I'm a parrot. What about a fourth wheel is just like another part of a couple, Maria, so not really an issue. The fifth wheel and the third wheel are extra. I know that's a weird opening to give to all of this after my depressing opening, but I want you all to have an idea of my mindset. I'm not quite sure I know how to describe all this, but I do know that I need to tell someone. I need someone else to know what happened and help me come to terms with it all. I think the only way I'll be able to explain this would be to help you see from my perspective as much as possible. So, there we were, driving down to Gila for a hike. With me feeling like the fifth wheel wedged between 2 of Ian's friends who I didn't know. 3 of us were cramped in the back seat while Ian and his girlfriend were up front. I look back at that unnecessary bit of moping back in August 2016 as, well, one of the last few moments of normalcy I would have in my life. Creepypastas have got the... They do. It feels sometimes, Derpy, like they feel like they need to throw in a lot more complex metaphors than they do. Like, sometimes less is just more if you're overly verbose with everything or try too hard to create a unique metaphor. It kind of distracts from the overall story and tone. Oh my gosh, Beans, this is surprisingly making you tired. Well, I hope you do get to sleep, but I hope you also enjoy this story. I hope it's a good kind of lulling you to sleep and not just because I'm really boring. Maria, you're waiting in the Family Dollar parking lot. Mom left. Oh no, why didn't you just go in, Maria? Should have gone in with the air conditioning. But yeah, if you get too hot in there, just go inside, okay? I don't want you baking in the car. Or if you have the keys, I guess you could turn on the AC. We preferably don't want to have the car running when we don't need to. AC car, he's left me alone. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's your guardian mother that did that, not me. I would never leave you in a hot car like that. Except that one time, but that doesn't count. Okay, have fun, Maria. I hope I see you later. I tried to make the best of the situation. I really did. Ian was always the more social of us. Our mom used to tell us that Ian could make anyone his friend, and that once I had a friend that I kept them. It was one of those parental platitudes that was given to reassure a socially awkward child that there was nothing wrong. Unfortunately, it would take me almost 19 years to learn that that wasn't true. Instead of taking my therapist's diagnosis of social anxiety disorder, following a breakdown after an office get-together, as a means for seeking treatment, I used it as an excuse to cloister myself off from the world. I stayed in my apartment when I wasn't working and told myself that I was just doing what was best for me. It's not a boring sleepy. Your voice is just calm. Aw, thank you, Beans. I appreciate it. I'm glad it can help you get a little sleepy. Of course, Ian decided that I wasn't healthy and convinced me to go on a weekend-long hike with him. It wasn't until I showed up at his house at 6 in the morning on Friday after taking the day off of work that I saw that he had invited others along. I think he saw it as a means of getting me help and breaking me out of my shell. Unfortunately, though, with Ian's extroverted nature, he didn't realize that I liked being in my shell. It was comfortable. A turtle doesn't like being broken out of its shell. After a brief introduction where I caught no one's name except for those I already knew, my brothers and his girlfriend, Jessica, due to morning grogginess and the rushed introduction, we packed up the car and left for our hike. It took 3 hours of mostly awkward silence for us to reach our destination. Ian tried to make conversation, but my short responses and the others' sleepiness killed them off fairly quickly. We found the parking lot near the Gila Cliff dwellings. As we unpacked our gear, we took a moment to bask in the beautiful sight that sat perched above us. It's hard to believe that someone could carve an entire town into the face of a cliff. But 700 years ago, people managed to do just that. Given that the parking lot was empty except for us, we would find out why later, and I was in need of some social lubrication, we split a 6-pack of beer and took in the majesty. Here's a picture in case you're wondering what the area looked like. Let me see if I can pull this picture for you. Let's see if we do that. Here, let me go to my keyboard real quick and see if I can show you the picture. Oh, Beans, right now it's 18. Wow. So 018. So at this point, I don't care anymore. Nice setting, but yeah, I really like this one, Beans. I'll be right back. Let me see if I can show you guys the picture that's here, because it is really impressive. Y'all might have seen it before. So that's what we're talking about here. That's what they were looking at in this story. It's very, very cool. I would love to go see that myself. All right, now let me get rid of that. There we go. Very cozy. Yeah, I love the fire. It's really nice, and it sets the mood good for some spooky stories. Hi, Nate. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty well. Kind of back in the headspace, excited to read this story. Last week was, I don't know, last week just didn't feel right. I was exhausted or something, just not in the right headspace. Sorry for being a heckler, but social lubrication is a vile way of saying you need to socialize. Yeah, I didn't particularly like that either. This writer also has a tendency of kind of doing these run-on sentences that are kind of a pain to narrate, at least for me. Let's see, good here. You're doing pretty decent, Nate. Made yourself have some gas station food for dinner. Oh, well, I hope it was at least good, and I hope more or less a balanced meal. But yeah, just not feeling like cooking then. As we finished our beers, got everything prepared, and used the restrooms, Ian explained what path we would be taking in detail. What we didn't know, and what my brother had failed to tell us, was that the West Fork Trail had been closed all that summer due to flooding. To be honest, the path wasn't that dangerous. They had just opted not to clear it due to the recent flooding, so it would be a bit more of a rugged hike. While it wasn't perilous in itself, it did keep us from encountering other hikers, which would cause a lot of problems when we actually needed help. Beans, that's probably not good. You've heard gas station. I've never really had gas station food myself. I'm sure it also depends on like where you go for it too. I'm sure some places are a lot better than others. Nate helps you focus more on protein because you hardly have any protein. Oh no, that's not good. Got to make sure you have that energy. Wasn't bad, just okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm well accustomed to the cheap freezer food. That used to be the primary staples of my diet because I didn't really do any cooking before. Beans, yeah, as long as it doesn't kill ya. Hi, Brayden. How are you doing? It's good to see you. We're just reading us. Oh, yeah. Nate, I forgot to tell you what the title was in case you wanted to read along. We're reading a story called Fleshgait. It's in the title of the stream if you need to know how to spell. Gourmet dino nugs. I love dino nugs. They always taste better than regular nugs. Right. Ian figured that we could make about 2 to 3 miles per hour, and we would be able to complete the Gila loop, which was about 30 miles long, with enough time to get back on Sunday and be ready for our respective jobs on Monday, with no one any the wiser that we had backpacked a closed section of the national park. As his explanation was a bit heavy on names and locations, some of which I can't recall clearly, I'll opt to include a picture rather than spend a page writing out everything. For the sake of simplicity, this is the path we were planning to take. I'll include a more detailed map of the area below as well. And it doesn't look like that picture is actually showing up for me, so I won't show you guys that. And honestly, probably not that interesting anyway. It's just it would just be a trail map. Our first day was relatively... Oh, you've already read it, Nate? But it's been a hot minute. Okay. Do you remember if you liked it or not? I don't know what to expect from it other than it's a cryptid story. But I like cryptids, so I'm excited for it. Got some food and on the way home. What'd you get, Brayden? It was pretty solid. Well, that's good. Okay, where was I? Oh, here we are. In addition, I'll include a more detailed map of the entire area so you can orient yourself if you want to trace the trail we took. If you plan on following along with the path as I tell you about this experience, all I can say is good luck. Even as I stare at it now, I feel just as lost as I was then. I was just going along with the group and trying to keep a positive mind about everything. I wanted to try and do a better job of getting to know Ian and Jessica's friends. I think my circumstances had finally begun to settle in. I had been living in a quiet apartment in New Mexico for over a year, and I had no friends. I would go to work and then home without doing anything else. Sometimes I would spend the entire weekend without saying a single word to anyone or seeing another person. I knew that if I didn't change something quick, that solitude would become the norm, and that frightened me. Our first day was relatively quiet. We spent a majority of the time taking in the sights, soaking in the sun, and breathing in the fresh air. The hike felt like we were constantly moving upward. As I was unaccustomed to hiking, I frequently fell behind, but I never completely lost sight of my brother's friends. While we took a break under the shade of a tree whose bark looked like dried scales from some long dead alligator, I tried to make small talk with everyone. I fell into a quick conversation with Ian and Jessica about their work and what they had been up to lately. When it came time to talk to the other two, I only managed to get the conversation going for a few sentences before it shriveled up and died. Fleshgait sounds kind of fun. It's a very good name. I like it a lot, Beans. I remembered assuring myself that it would be easier when we stopped for the night. We rested for a while before continuing our ascent up the mesa. This was where everyone realized how truly out of my element I was here. The path up the mesa was agonizing for me. It seemed to never stop climbing up, and there was almost no shade to keep the sun from beating down on us. I was sweating buckets, panting, wheezing, whenever they stopped to wait for me to catch up. I tried to pretend that I didn't notice their exasperated whispers or side glances, but it was easier said than done. They seemed like the outdoorsy type that had been doing this sort of thing for years. By the time our path started to level out, I was ready to turn around and leave. It wasn't until we reached the top and looked out over everything that I realized how foolish of an idea that was. Even if I was able to convince Ian to give me the keys and let me walk back to the car and go home, I had no idea where I was going or what trail markers we had been using. I imagined splitting off from the group and tromping through poison ivy, bumbling into a rapey gang of banjo-playing hill folk, or getting lost in the dark and wandering in circles until exhaustion and exposure took me. Even if I did manage to hike back to the parking lot, where was I going to go? Would I go back home to my empty apartment, eat a Hot Pocket, feel sorry for myself again? I decided to tough it out and continue hiking. Nate, you don't know why, but the name Fleshgait makes you think about the underbelly, the devil's hole, and the mystery flesh pit. Those all do kind of have similar vibes to them. I don't know what the underbelly is. I don't think I've heard of that one. Yeah, Derpy, those are all creepypasta related things. There are a lot of horror content creators who like to make weird names like that for the sake of shock or, just intrigue. Beans, bro definitely has colorful speech. He certainly does. He really tries to make his sentences unique. We made camp at a dry section of the Indian Creek after having hiked a decent amount. Ian was confident that we would make it back on Sunday and that the next few days were going to be less intensive. We ate some food and stowed the rest in a bear bag a ways away from the camp. We were passing a bottle of whiskey around in front of a campfire we had built when the conversation shifted to the most awkward moments everyone had experienced. Ian retold his story about the first time he met Jessica at a club where he was way too drunk for his own good and ended up puking into her purse. Jessica bristled at the memory and jokingly called Ian an asshole for that. Each person shared their stories about a bumbling first kiss, where their braces got hooked together, locking themselves out of their dorm rooms in their underwear, their cringe-inducing high school edgelord personality, and caring for their drunken boyfriend who puked into their favorite bag. Then the bottle came to me, and it was my turn to tell them a story. Oh, you were confused by the banjo-playing rapist? Just a Deliverance reference if you've seen the movie, Derpy. Oh no, Beans, you can hear the birds already. Do they really come out that early, Beans? 'Cause, for how early it is, it should still be dark there, right? Unless it's different in that part of the world. I guess South Africa is pretty low as far as where it is on the globe. Nate, honestly, you love horror content when it's done in a horror comedy style, going over a small blurb of something seriously, then going over it again while cracking several jokes in simplified terms. Yeah, it definitely depends on me. Sometimes it can go overboard, though. Oh no, those birds are up way too early. I never had the experience of locking braces. So I lucked out on that. You can hear them flying around. Oh, yeah, I suppose it could be bats if you don't hear them tweeting or anything. Bats seems like it would be more reasonable. I instantly knew what my most embarrassing story was the moment we started the conversation. I didn't tell them about the door, though. Instead, I made up a story ripping my pants in front of a group during a work interview that I had probably ripped straight out of a 90s sitcom. They laughed with me, and I felt like a piece of shit. They had bothered to reveal their most embarrassing moments and were commiserating in their shared experience, and here I was, too afraid to tell them the truth, to tell them about the door. The conversation continued for a bit afterwards as we killed the bottle. When it was dead, we all went to bed, still pretty drunk after dousing the campfire. I woke up in the middle of the night, desperately needing to use the bathroom. Still a bit fuzzy from the bullet whiskey. I trumped out into the woods to do my business. It wasn't until I was almost done that Nadia's voice cut through the blackness. She asked me if I had a lighter. Since I hadn't heard her approach, the sound of her voice made me jump. It would have scared the piss out of me had I not just gone to the bathroom. I mumbled something about having a lighter back around the camp. She told me that she had dropped hers and asked me to help her look for it. But I was too out of it to be any good to anyone, so I told her that we'd look for it later. I vaguely remember her mumbling a protest as I stumbled back to my sleeping roll. Nate, you've seen that happen, but that's when you learned that Brace's high schoolers were freaks because they just went at it. I checked the time. It was a 33-minute, oh my gosh, a 33-minute long kiss since they were stuck together. Best prom after party you've been in. Oh my gosh. It wasn't until the next morning that I realized how stupid I had been. Apparently, they had heard yowling in the surrounding woods all last night. They thought that the sound could have possibly belonged to the Mexican gray wolf, but no one was sure. Ian knew that they inhabited the area, but were very uncommon. I paled at the thought of being mauled by a wolf while out peeing in the middle of the woods. I decided next time I would wake up Ian before going out into the woods to answer the call of nature. We packed up a while later after a light breakfast and continued on our hike. Beans. Suppose you shouldn't let braces stop you from having fun. I suppose that's true. If you're willing to deal with the consequences, I guess go for it. The second day was a little better. The overbearing sun I suffered under previously was hidden behind heavy clouds. We crossed a number of rivers as we followed the 157-729 junction. We went along Little Bear Canyon as we headed towards the TJ Corral, which was towards the end of the hiking loop. As the path hadn't been cleared yet, we frequently had to dodge patches of poison ivy and stinging nettles. I fared much better on this hike, and despite nursing a slight hangover, I felt like I was doing a much better job of getting around with my pack and clunky boots my brother had loaned me. We made camp around midday and purified some water from a nearby river, boiling and adding the little iodine tablets to them, as the last section of our hike didn't really have many opportunities for drinking water. I think that maybe our encounter last night with the yipping and yowling wolves had added a bit of seriousness to the hike, as there wasn't much joking around or conversations this night. We talked a little bit, but mainly just had something small to eat while we stared into the campfire. Ian and Jessica were the first to call it for the night, I stayed up with the others for a bit, but we were mainly silent. The other two slowly went off after a bit, and I decided to enjoy the warmth a bit longer before getting ready to go to bed for the night. Just as I had finished dousing the fire, I remember Jerry coming up to me and asking for the map. He told me that he wanted to plan out the rest of our trip, and that there was a spring nearby that we should really visit that wasn't too far out of the way. I grabbed the map from Ian's pack and gave it to him before turning in. Nate, know the feeling, went to a rock and roll concert in high school while being epileptic. Had 2 seizures. Your friends carried you to the bathroom and watched it. Aw, well, that's really good friends. I'm glad you had them with you, Nate. Beans, hiking ain't your thing. You would hate every second of it, but camping sounds fun. Yeah, I like it in theory. At least I don't like being dirty, and I'm very much a city girl. But I do like nature. I haven't been camping in a really long time. I'd kind of like to do it again, but only with the right people, I think. Yeah, Beans, that's very true. At least he knows they're good friends. Hopefully you're still in contact with them. Oh yeah, they know you'd do the same for them in a heartbeat, and honestly has been a miracle you haven't tried skydiving yet. Yeah, I definitely expect you to do something like that someday, Nate, for how many things you get yourself into. Alright. I woke up the next morning to the sound of Ian rustling around his bag. He sounded angrier the longer he searched. He knocked mess kits into each other as he peered deep into the pack for something he was missing. Frustrated that he wasn't finding the item he was looking for, he turned the bag upside down and dumped out everything. He was practically ready to tear out his own hair. And it seemed like he had spent the entire morning looking for that one thing. Wanting to know what was up, I walked to him and we started talking. He asked me, "Hey man, you seen the map anywhere? I can't seem to find it." "Where's Jerry? I gave him the map last night so he could map out a little detour on the trip so we could visit a spring. Why don't you ask him? He probably knows," I answered. It was then that Ian said something that changed everything. "Jerry? Who are you talking about? Do you mean Oliver? Don't tell me you thought his name was..." I explained. "No, I'm talking about Jerry. Tall guy, kinda lanky." "You're joking, right?" He looked confused for a few seconds and made a questioning sound like a really old computer trying to process something moments before it catches on fire. The pieces clicked and Ian shouted, "Who the fuck is Gary?" Or Jerry. Oh my gosh, it was supposed to be a dramatic moment and I botched it. Oh well. Getting the attention of everyone in the area. Some fucking guy asked you for our map in the middle of the night and you just fucking gave it to him? You handed our stuff to some random stranger you met in the woods? Let me catch up with chat. Oh my gosh, I got a little behind. Nate. Oh, yeah, I read that one. Oh, yeah, definitely do skydiving with an instructor. You second Beans, Derpy. Oh, Nate, you chat with the friends decently often. They work at a dispensary right next to a snack shop. That's really cool. I'm glad you're still in touch with them. Yeah, I wouldn't think you would do something like that without, all the necessary precautions and everything, Nate, but, doesn't hurt to be sure. Please, Nate, we are begging. Oh my gosh, don't worry, Beans. Nate'll take care of himself. Kind of. Who the fuck is Gary? Best quote in the whole story. And I messed it up because it's supposed to be Jerry, but it's with a G, so I just read Gary. I miss Gary, guys. I still haven't gotten over killing him in Ebe. Ooh, you heard the bats, Beans? Bats are really fun. I mean, I don't want to, touch them or anything, but I think they're cool. I tried to explain myself and tell him that I knew Jerry, and that he did too, since I remember hiking with him the day before, but I couldn't find the words to convey that point. It was here that Jessica stepped in and asked what was going on. Ian vented vitriol. How fucking stupid are you, Evan? Some random guy named Jerry comes up to you in the middle of the night asking for our shit, and you just give it to him. Jesus Christ, we needed that map to get around smoothly since the trails out here haven't been cleared. Ian shouted for about 15 minutes while everyone became aware of our situation. Jessica managed to calm him down enough so we could figure out our next move. While we weren't completely screwed as Ian had memorized a large portion of the trail markers, it was going to be a lot harder to navigate the necessary junctions to bring us back around to our car. We packed up all our stuff, making sure that the guy hadn't taken anything else, and we left. Gary is the funny. I like Gary much better than Jerry. I'm picturing just some office worker stepping in and asking for the map. Who spells Jerry with a G? Never seen that before. I think I've seen it once or twice, but yeah, it's definitely not as common. Don't forget Gary loves you, Faith reference. I still need to play that game, actually. I think I watched a playthrough of it, but it was a long time ago, so I don't remember it. We love Gary here. Alright, where are we? This story kind of gives me the Goatman story vibes. It's got some very similar themes. The entire hike, I could feel Ian's eyes drilling into me. The last time I had seen him this furious was just before he got into a fight with Aaron Fredlinger and beat him to a pulp. He got suspended for a week, and Aaron got a black eye, busted lip, and never said anything about our mother again. Each time we came across a break in the path, we spent a few minutes while Ian tried to remember where to go. The fact that the trails had been closed and the paths were overgrown only served to make everything more difficult. I think that's how we made a wrong turn and began wandering on the faint trail. I don't know if that's where it went wrong since we didn't have the map at the time, but that's my best guess. Further away from home and safety. Towards midday, tensions had reached a critical point. Ian frequently mumbled things that would make a sailor blush, while Jessica tried to hide the fact that she was close to crying. Oliver attempted to lighten the situation by telling everyone that we just had to follow the compass and we would get home safe and sound. Oliver's girlfriend didn't say much. She just stared quietly at her feet as she walked. I think she had the right idea since Lucas was constantly misplacing his footing and slipping. He looked like he had downed a fifth of vodka and was now trying to walk home on a tightrope while being randomly shocked with a cattle prod. The realization twisted something deep down inside and made me want to throw up. I stopped walking and began talking to Lucas. So already, we're getting characters that, we have more characters than we should have again. Because wasn't it supposed to be 5? That's why he was the 5th wheel. Beans. You'd so want to just end yourself if that ever happened to you. You really hate losing other... Oh, yeah, I would feel so awful if that ever happened to me. Nothing anyone else said could be, worse than what I would already be telling myself. But, yeah, it's an awful feeling, but, everyone makes mistakes. The best you can do is just kind of move on, try to repair what you can. Beans, y'all read a bunch of stuff. You rarely read stuff, so this is really not... Aww. You looked up if Jessica is a real name, and it is, apparently. Oh, really? I knew it was a real name, because I've heard it before, but I didn't know it meant God beholds. For me, you'll be completely honest, you'd forget you lost it 10 minutes later. Well, I suppose that's a pretty good defense mechanism, though. What's going on with you, man? Ian, still pissed off at me, took this opportunity to vent a bit. Huh? What are you talking about now? Lucas is bumbling and twitching all over the place. What's wrong with it? Don't be a dick, man. You know he has multiple sclerosis. We told you before the hike started about his condition. As soon as he said it, the events came rushing back to me as clear as day. I recalled Ian pulling me to the side and telling me about his friend's diagnosis and how this was likely going to be his last opportunity to undertake a long hike like this, so we had to help him and move slowly. I remembered watching him scramble up the trail and thinking about our own mom and her illness. It brought back bittersweet memories of birthday wishes given to us from hospital beds and hearing her sob quietly to herself in the middle of the night when she thought we were asleep. Guilt flooded over me, and I stepped forward to apologize to Lucas when it happened. Lucas growled at me the instant I took a step forward, and he dropped to a hunched position on his hands and feet. It almost looked like his skin was bristling at a possible threat, and I could see his broken and decaying teeth as he hissed at all of us before taking off at a hopping stride into the woods. He moved like one of those CGI monstrosities from the last Planet of the Apes movie. His shaky and unstable balance was replaced by the more natural and animalistic gait as he loped into the distance and disappeared amongst the trees. The last thing I saw was what I assumed were his clothes, slowing off his body, revealing that they weren't actually clothes, but gray folds of skin. Oliver was the first to talk. What the... As soon as Oliver said those words, it was like a switch had flipped that set everyone into panic mode. We began to run along the trail as if it would do us any good. The only thought in my head was to put as much distance as possible between me and that thing. I think it took a good 15 minutes for us to run out of energy with our heavy packs and the disorienting nature of the woods. As we tried to catch our breath, I surveyed the area around us and came to a terrible realization. In our panic, we had run off the path and were now even deeper in the woods. We tried to make sense of what we saw. I just remember Ian mumbling the same phrase over and over. What the hell was that? Nate, yeah, I might just want to let Lucas go. Yeah, I don't think they want Lucas there. Remembering how something made you remember something, Derpy. Lucas should be sacrificed. The short answer is that it was Lucas. The long of it is this. There was no Lucas. Not really. I'm sorry for interrupting the story in the middle like this, but I think now is the best time to try and explain everything. I know how confusing this all seems with Jerry and Lucas. The truth is, I did that because I don't think I could have appropriately explained it to you without you first experiencing it from my eyes. I don't know what to call those things, but they do something to your mind. They insinuate themselves into your memories. They wrap themselves up in a wall of your recollections, and even though you know something is wrong, you can't quite put your finger on it. Your group of 4 friends could grow to 5, and you wouldn't be any the wiser. A part of you will stupidly admonish you for ever wondering how many there were. Posture check. Oh my gosh. All right, we're getting healthy. All right, first we are going to hydrate. We'll just take them in order. Oh my gosh, you got a turtle. Which of you is in the leaderboard or in the winner's spot, by the way? Derpy, oh, there it goes. Yeah, I was just about to say, I think you found Franklin, Nate. Oh my gosh. I completely missed who was in the top spot. I wasn't looking. All right, we're gonna do a bit of stretching now. And you all make sure you get up and stretch too if you've been sitting a while. You all gotta stay healthy too. I don't know what I did. Slept on my shoulder funny a few days ago or something, but it's been a little achy. Get some leg stretches. Ooh, that one felt good. And last but not least, a posture check. Thank you, Nate. We got some... Oh, moved my screen. Got some blood flowing. Made sure we're not being too lazy. All right. It was Nate followed by Scarlett, and yeah, I agree with you, Nate. I have a fondness for gambling also, which is why I don't really go to casinos. If I did, I would very much have to give myself a hard money limit and have at least someone else there who can stop me when I inevitably disregard it. Derpy, well, you're in a car right now, so you don't think you should... Okay, Derpy, that's fair. You get a pass. You don't have to participate in PE today. Beans, if you get up and stretch, you're breaking all your... Okay, don't break all your bones, Beans. You're in such a weird position. I mean, as long as it's comfy, Beans, just don't fall asleep that way. Falling asleep in a weird position, it is always torture in the morning. Oh, you got a Snuggie, Nate? But that... Wait. Is it actually cold where you are right now, Nate? Derpy, you hate gambling because you always have terrible luck in odd-based games. That's fair. I don't always have the best luck, but I still get a thrill out of it. It's like, that just one more time and not knowing what to expect. It's also why I avoid gotcha games. Oh, wow, 65. That's pretty nice. Yeah. You look at it and you recognize the face. You remember events. You remember getting drunk at a bar together. You remember them crying on your shoulder after a rough breakup. You remember everything that happened between you, but none of it's true. I don't know how it does it. It crawls into your head somehow and makes you see things in a way that benefits them. It can mold memories, but it can't mimic human movement. It walks on 4 claws, not 2 feet. It growls, hisses, and snarls. It doesn't talk. It infiltrates, observes, and waits. It was hunting us and trying to drive us deeper into the woods. It was succeeding. Don't worry, you can still feel all your limbs, no circulate. Okay, that's good, Beans. Stab everyone except the brother. I mean, even the brother could be, a false memory at that point. You never know. I don't think I could bring myself to go that route, though. We never really reached much of a conclusion about what that thing was, but we did reach a consensus that we had to get out of here as soon as possible. I watched Ian as he looked around the forest and came to the same realization I did. We were lost. He didn't tell the others. I think he realized that panicking would only get us in more trouble. Instead, he told us to follow him. With the shock of our encounter settling in, we could do nothing but follow his lead and hope it all worked out. As we walked, we could hear the sounds of distant animals yowling and calling out to each other. The terror of our situation deepened as the others whispered that those were the same noises they had heard the first night out in the woods. Whatever this thing was, it was following us and calling out to other things in the area. At the time, I couldn't stop thinking about one of them barreling out from the underbrush and sinking its black and rotting teeth into my neck before the rest of the group could react. I remember brushing the thought off and mentally reassuring myself that there were 6 of us here, and we had only actually encountered one of those creatures. As the day pressed on, and we seemingly wandered south in an attempt to pick up another trail that would lead us back to the parking lot, I couldn't help but shake a nagging feeling in the back of my mind. It felt like I had forgotten some important deadline that I should never have forgotten about. It wasn't until Oliver mentioned his wish of being back in the car that Jessica stopped dead in her tracks. We all turned towards her, but knew what was coming the second she asked. We only took one car down here, right? Ian snapped, more fearful than frustrated. Of course we did. Remember how cramped everyone was in that tiny-ass Prius with all our camping gear smashed in the trucks in our lap? What about it? Jessica went white as if this was the first time that Ian had ever raised his voice to her. She paused for a moment before asking, "How many of us are here right now, and how many does your car seat?" Ian's car sat 4 people comfortably, 5 uncomfortably, and there were 6 of us out in the woods at that moment. Beans, bro is a born leader. Let's hope he makes it. Oh, yeah, you saw it too at the time, Beans. 6. Yeah, I love stories like this where it manipulates the reality. I'm glad he doesn't I'm glad he tries to do it from his point of view. I think that does play into the whole thing a lot better. Yeah, you got it, Beans. Hi, Sawi. It's going well. We're just reading a story. How about you? It's pretty late. Oh, well, I guess it's not as late as I thought, but it's getting up there. How are you doing? Everything happened at once. Ian swore. Oliver's girlfriend gave a half shriek and a half gasp while I looked wide-eyed from person to person, trying to figure out which one of us didn't belong there. Sarah was the only one who managed to say something, and that was... Sarah. I have no idea if that's even close to how they wanted to do it, but that's the best I could do with what they gave me. She didn't finish her words before her jaw popped open. Love the faker idea. Yeah, it's a gimmick in horror that I always like. Exactly, Beans. Who is Sarah? She's still trying to find the answer. That's why she went on this hike. This is a soul-searching journey for her. She's really hoping to find herself. I don't mean that it dropped open like she was astonished at something. It popped open like it had dislocated from her face. The space between her lips was a massive, sickly pink void of inflamed gums that was at least a foot wide. She looked at us with dead and dull eyes as she slowly raised a twitching hand up to her jaw and tried to lock it back into place. For a more human-esque appearance, she popped it back into a place with a hollow-sounding squelch of meat and bone shifting as if nothing was wrong about what had just happened before she tried to speak again. Is me. Ian was the first to react. He stepped towards the failed facsimile of human and swung his walking stick at her face while bellowing, "Get out of here!" She hopped back from the attack in a sloppy motion and landed on all fours. Her body shuddered as if an electrical jolt had passed through her as she slowly backed away from all of us, while facing Jessica the entire time. She hissed at us one last time before retreating deeper into the woods with a convulsing lope. It took a moment for us all to regain our composure before we continued walking while trying not to look in every direction at once. It's okay, Sawi. Well, that's better than bad. It's a soul-taking journey. Shove a rock in it in the mouth, Nate. Hit it with the rock. Okay. I remember Oliver rambling as we walked. He kept asking, although no one was responding to him, "Did you see how it moved? It was twitching like an epileptic in a rave. You ever see one of those documentaries about mad cow disease? That thing was twitching and moving like one of those infected cows. What the hell was that thing? Was it a person? What kind of person can do that to their body? It tried to talk to us. He rambled for hours before we had to stop. We had to tell him to shut up because we were worried about that thing hearing us, though that really wasn't the case. We made him stop talking because it only served to scare us." Oh, you're getting goosebumps now, Beans? I hope you like scary stuff then. I love it when I actually get goosebumps from something. Despite stopping for the night, none of us actually slept. We sat around a campfire and listened to the sound of high-pitched whining and yelping coming from all around us. It seemed like any time I actually got close to falling asleep, the calls would start up again and jolt me awake. We spoke in hushed whispers and tried to figure out what they wanted with us, even though none of us really wanted the answer to that question. The hours dragged on almost endlessly before dawn broke, and we continued our hike. We spent Sunday hiking around and trying to find a familiar sight, without any real sense of where we were and where we were going. Our only hope was to stumble across another hiker or find an area with a high enough vantage point that we could survey the entire area. Unfortunately, any elevations we climbed didn't afford a good view of the area, and it was extremely unlikely that we would find another hiker due to the fact that the trail had been closed and wasn't even clear. Even if we did, what were the chances that we would trust them? And could we be certain that it wasn't one of those things? Midway through the day, Ian whispered to me, "Count the people wearing backpacks. One of them is with us again." I casually looked over my shoulder and noticed that one of our group was walking without any gear. They trailed behind us, but were still in our vicinity. They moved slowly, but didn't show any of the jerky movements of the previous two. The thought that it was learning to mimic our movements unsettled me. Without really thinking, I shucked off my backpack and approached the imposter. Before they knew what was happening, I shoved them as hard as I could. Nate, cleaning the bathroom while listening to this. Love hearing this with the scent of bleach making it feel, oh my gosh. Make sure you have it aired out enough, like open windows and turn on vents. We don't need you getting high on bleach, Nate. You don't think that's a good thing? No, not at all. How many do you think is going? I don't know. I don't know if there's even more than one of these things. We've only seen one at a time, so it could be that this is the only one of itself. The instant my hands pressed into their shirt, I felt something slick and warm give way like the outer layer falling off of a rotten mango. Their shirt slid off their body into my hands, and I quickly realized it was their skin. The thing was actually naked, but gave the appearance of clothes by altering the color of its almost translucent skin. I dropped the skin that had slowed off, and it hit the ground with a wet slap. The creature toppled backwards and began yelping. I can only describe the sound like this. Imagine getting out of your bed in the middle of the night to go take a piss. As you're feeling your way through the darkness to get out of the room, you step on your dog's tail. Imagine that startled yelp of pain and the shock that comes along with it. Now, focus on that emotion you felt when you heard that noise, that sudden surprise and guilt. In reality, the sound it made was nothing like a hurt dog. It just reminded me so much of a wounded pet that I can't differentiate the sounds. Here's the worst part. I shouldn't have felt bad. Those things were stalking and tormenting us. They were likely hunting us, and I felt bad for harming it. I shouldn't have felt bad about it, but it wanted me to, and so I did. Such an oddly specific description, Derpy. Yeah, that's the entirety of this story. There are so many just weirdly specific things. The thing writhed on the ground on its back for a few seconds, making a pitiable noise. It reached back with its arms and pushed itself upright on its hands and on the balls of its feet. Its joints popped wetly, and its muscles and bones adjusted to fit this new position. It crab crawled away while shrieking the entire time, as Ian pursued it with his walking stick, hoping to catch up to it and cave its head in. It wasn't until the thing disappeared from sight that I realized that the shrieking wasn't just coming from the monster, but from Jessica as well. It was trying to mimic her response. With Ian gone and Jessica's screams possibly drawing more of those things to us, I decided that I had to do something. Oh, Nate, you commonly associate the scent of cleaning supplies to be similar to body fluids from volunteer work at a hospital. Shares a creepy vibe. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Nate, no, the dog thing was just an analogy to help describe what the sound was like to the author. Conjuring. Oh, yeah, I suppose so. I need to rewatch the first Conjuring. I wasn't a fan of the first one so much. You broke a finger while crab walking. It still bends weird. Uh-oh. Derpy, you better not be a Fleshgait. I stepped forward and wrapped her up in my arms. She was shaking like a leaf in the wind. I stroked her hair and whispered that it was over. She managed to choke out something about its face. All I could make out was that something was terribly wrong with its face. She calmed down as I told her everything was going to be all right. I didn't believe that myself, but it was the only thing I could think of that might bring her comfort. Ian returned, fuming that the monster escaped, and I awkwardly broke off the hug. Ian didn't say anything. He just started walking. We continued following him, hoping that he would find the way, but knowing that he probably wouldn't. 6 hours later, we settled down for the night. It felt like we had been going in circles all day and made absolutely no progress. For all we knew, the thing could have been tinkering around with our memories and convincing us that familiar landmarks were new and leading us deeper into the woods. I didn't tell the others, but I think I knew what those things wanted with us. They wanted to lead us deeper into the woods. They were trying to force us to exhaustion, and when we were too weak to defend ourselves, they would descend upon us and eat us. Oliver was right about that. If that thing is similar to us in any way, then those twitching spasms were likely some sort of prion disorder that came from eating humans. Okay, so stuff like that, like, what is this person? Like, what knowledge set do they have? Because that seems like a random bit of knowledge for just some guy to have. Yeah, Jessica's losing it. I wouldn't be surprised if she was our first group death. The scent of a freshly and or overly cleaned area is just as unnerving as a disgusting vomit, blood, and fecal covered spot. Yeah, it certainly can. I've never liked the smell of any of those things. I remember once we were dissecting, little piglets in one of my biology classes, and I didn't have as much problem with like the gore and stuff. It was that formaldehyde smell or whatever it is that did worse than anything else. Yeah, like I know that it causes like brain stuff eating people, but like I don't know, that just seemed very specific, and he just says it so casually. Beans, who knows? You literally would not understand any of these words coming out without random Google searches at 3 a.m. That's very fair. Like, you can get a bunch of them from context, but yeah. Oh, there we are. After eating some jerky, since we decided against having a fire and drawing more of them to us, we reached the conclusion that we would have to sleep in shifts. I volunteered for first watch because my insight into the monster's behavior had robbed me of any desire to sleep. The others went off without so much as another word. They were exhausted, and it wasn't until an hour into my watch that I realized I was too. Even given the monster's grotesque appearance, everyone needs to sleep. Jessica joined me about 2 hours into my watch. She admitted that she couldn't sleep after our encounter with the creature. I nodded in agreement. Both of us had seen something terrible that the others hadn't. We talked for a good 30 minutes about what we thought was going on and how everyone was handling it. She was worried about Ian. She confessed that he was acting erratic and that he was scaring her. I wrapped my arm around her for a moment and told her that we were all scared. She looked in my eyes and told me that she was glad I was here. And I felt something twist deep down inside me that I had buried a long time ago when I first met her. The longer she stayed with me on watch, the more personal our conversations became. She confessed that she and Ian had been fighting a lot recently, and she was wondering if they were going to work it all out. At the start of their relationship, they were great together. He made her feel wonderful, but there was something that didn't feel right. There was something missing. I listened to her talk about everything that was going on in her life, and I knew I had to do something. I knew that if I didn't do it now, I would regret it. I had to tell her about the door. Beans kill Jessica. She's being mighty fishy, but if she saw the face, then yeah, that could be very traumatizing. Kill Ian. Ian is a very loose cannon right now. He's on the verge of just snapping. Y'all just want everyone to die. Have them all be dead, and this is the Skinwalker Cryptid. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's gonna end it with trying to lure us out there. What a twist. Shyamalan wrote this. She listened quietly as I told her everything. It was the event that precipitated my breakdown at work and my social anxiety disorder diagnosis at the therapist's office. Everything started off simply enough one Friday at work. I was in the lunchroom eating my sandwich and reading a book as per my usual, while my coworkers talked about their plans for the weekend. One of them was having a housewarming party, and they were inviting everyone at work. I figured that the invitation was only extended to the people he was talking to until he asked me if I would be able to make it on Saturday. As it was the first time I had been invited to hang out after work, I chose to go. I'm gonna take a drink of water real quick. Yeah, aside from this story being overly wordy, I'm really enjoying it. They're learning beans. Yeah, it seems like it. Your arm's cramping up. You're so excited. Make sure you get in a... If the position becomes uncomfortable, make sure you get in a comfortable one, Beans. Sorry about that. Had to cough a little bit. Okay. I spent all of Saturday getting ready, planning what were interesting topics to bring up in case there was a lull in conversation, and the bottle of wine I was planning to give him as a housewarming gift. After psyching myself up, I left to go to the party with the bottle in hand and my spirits high. I convinced myself that I was going to be the life of the party, and that maybe if I played my cards right, I could finally find a friend at work that would make the time fly by instead of dragging on. It wasn't until I reached the house that false bravado began to crumble apart. I stopped in front of the neighbor's house as everywhere else already had a parked car there. It was then that I felt my heart beating like I had just run a mile. I began heading up to the driveway with the wine bottle slick in my hands from my palms sweating. It wasn't until I reached the front door that I realized that something was terribly wrong. All that excitement that had been building up since Friday afternoon was now replaced with something else. Apprehension. All those topics I had thought up seemed boring, and all the reassurances I had given myself seemed hollow. I didn't feel prepared for this at all. At this point, a small part of me whispered something that has stuck with me to this very day. That voice intimated that they never really wanted me to come out. They had only given that invitation as a courtesy and didn't actually expect me to come out to their house. It said that if I knocked on that door that I would be making a fool out of myself. It told me that I wasn't even comfortable in my own skin, so how could I even dare to imagine that they would enjoy my company? They wanted to celebrate with their friends. They didn't want to listen to me fumble for something to talk about. All those fears flashed in front of me, taunting me, demanding that I knock on the door and make myself look like an idiot. That part of me told me that I was better off alone, and I listened. Beans, you're too much of a talker to read stuff like this. Put way too much. Oh, wait. Dude, put way too much effort into your opinion. Wait, which opinion? Nate honestly can relate. You know you don't give off the vibe, but you have horrid social anxiety, which you naturally just shove it down and make yourself the life of the party until you head home where you hide away and relax. I feel that sometimes too. Like, I am a little surprised, Nate, because you always seem like very much a charmer. But yeah, as far as my social anxiety, I would always be a wallflower, and I wouldn't have gone to something like that anyway. If they invited me, I would have found an excuse to not go. Now I'm different. I'm more comfortable socially, but I still do get that anxiety. Beans, does that mean you also like hiding in random crevices in your house? Not so much that part. You meant her put too much effort into trying to get people to like. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, it's a complicated thing. Like, you need to be enough yourself that it's, genuine. But there are social masks that people wear. Like, you don't go up to most people and just immediately start being 100% yourself. It'd be nice if we could, but that's kind of just not how the social world works. Nate, people say you do have decent charm, just you need to smash the shell out of yours more often. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like, you know, you just gotta get it by going to the social things. That's kind of how it's been for me. Like, I just faked it till it was real. Oh, you're basically mutant public beans. Well, if any of y'all ever get in VR chat, you're always welcome to come join me, whether it's on stream or not. Unless you're with family or friends. Yeah, Beans, that's how I used to be. Hazel, welcome to the Astral Plane. I'm glad you're enjoying your time here enough to want to follow. Oh, and getting a stretch out of the way. Let's go ahead and do that. And I see your hydrate, Beans. We'll get that shortly. Oh, the fire's kind of messing it up there. That's a little better. Right, y'all. Get your stretches in. Hazel demands it. Oh, no, we're not doing that one. Shoulder can't do that. All right. We'll get some of those leg stretches. But Hazel, I hope you're having a very good day. All right. Now we can hydrate ourselves. Make sure y'all are staying hydrated as well. Don't need y'all dying of thirst in my chat. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty well. This has been a really interesting story. We're reading Fleshgait. Where am I from? I am from the US. Where are you from, Hazel? Nate, weird thing. You're more the exact opposite. Easier just to talk to people in public rather than with family and in-person friends. Interesting. I wonder why that is, Nate. Now you ready to fight off demons, Beans? Well, I think we're gonna need it. I'm sure things are gonna be popping off in the story. I don't know if there's more Fleshgates than the one we've been seeing. I don't even know if that's the same one. I wonder if that's different creatures that have been showing up or if it's just the same one. Oh, you're from London? Nice. I know a few people from that area. How are you doing? It's pretty late for you right now, right? Like, I think you guys are 7 or 8 hours ahead of me. And it's like 5:30 for me now. Nice. Yeah, this is do you play VR chat at all? That's what I stream in. I just like to stream in VR chat, and it's nice to have a little bit more personality. You know what? We're talking. Let's bring y'all closer. There we go. But yeah, I like to be in VR chat because it lets me feel like I'm a little closer to you all, because that's what I really want out of all this streaming stuff. It's mostly about the interaction with the chat. How's streaming going so far? It's going very well. I never expected to get this far. Like, once I hit affiliate, that was, I mean, even before I hit affiliate, I didn't think I'd have like anyone who wanted to watch. So the fact that anyone does is just, it's an absolute delight. I'm glad I've met all these people who just want to hang out and watch me do some stupid things and mess up a lot of scuff. It would be best if you stream Oh, thank you, Hazel. I do have a pretty consistent schedule. I usually stream Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and each of them have kind of a different theme. So today, Sunday, we usually do spooky stories, usually like creepypastas, but we've also done SCP articles and, stuff like that. Oh, that reminds me, I was actually wanting to run an idea by you guys because, oh, you appreciate the efforts? Thank you, Hazel. I really appreciate you coming in here and just hanging out. Just doing that makes my day a little better. But anyway, so it dawned on me, Nosferatu is public domain, so we could watch it on stream, but I don't know if that would be boring for all of you. I like old horror movies, and I think that might be kind of fun to do for a spooky, scary story Sunday, but I don't know if any of you like it at all. Nate, wondering what your daily irresponsible thing should be today. Need to fill out your quota. I don't know. I feel like anything I suggest would be rather rather minor compared to what you typically do. Oh, thank you, Hazel. I still have a lot of issues with my voice. And right now it does feel a little, not completely hoarse, but it definitely does feel like it's not completely where it should be. Where it usually is, I mean. But I really appreciate it. Beans, you've never heard of it before? You've never heard of what before, Beans? Oh, Nosferatu. It's a vampire movie. It's basically Dracula. Who would win in a fight, Nosferatu versus Steamboat Willie? I would think Nosferatu, but I did see that someone was doing a Steamboat Willie horror thing. I'm really interested. Ooh, yeah, we can definitely get you added, Hazel. I don't have a Discord server yet, but I'm trying to get one set up so I can add you after this stream. I might forget, so it might be a couple of days. But yeah, I want to get a Discord server set up so I can give you guys better updates and, talk with you and stuff. And so you guys can share pictures and stuff with me and all that. I think it'll be a lot of fun, but I'm just winging it here. I don't know what I'm doing. Everyone's just been very patient with me, so I appreciate that greatly. I definitely will add you, Hazel. I'll do it after stream. You like vampires, Beans? Yeah, it is. It's a silent movie. And I know those are a little higher barrier to entry for some people, because it is from, gosh, how old is it? It's sometime in 1920 something. I could be wrong. Beans, as soon as you can, you're sending pictures of, oh, I would love to see them, Beans. Yeah, I'll try to get the Discord set up by the end of the month. It'll probably be very bare bones, but at least there will be a place where everyone can kind of congregate and you guys can hang out with each other outside of, the Twitch chat if you want. Yeah, that's all right. Hazel's just a little excited. Thank you though, Beans. Yeah, I got a little distracted. You guys do that to me way too easily. And if y'all have VR chat, Like I said, you're always welcome to, you know, come say hi and stuff. I love seeing y'all in here. Oh my gosh, don't worry, Hazel, I'll get you added. But we're gonna do it after the stream. It's kind of a pain to do stuff while I'm in VR. And we also gotta finish the story, because we've been on this story for like an hour, 40 minutes. Oh my gosh. We're getting close though. Well, in that case, oh yeah, if you wanna pop in right now and just like hang out, that's totally fine, Nate. Wait, do you have VR chat, Nate? Alright, where was I? Totally lost my spot. Oh. I guess I didn't know that. Yeah, go ahead and hop in, Nate. I don't mind when, like, I was thinking this world actually would be kind of good for having people. Like, look at all this empty space we have. Like, we could just... There's also a couch over there that's off screen. That's where I was last time I was here. Country, you mean, Hazel? Yeah, USA, it's definitely got its issues, but yeah, I'm honestly pretty happy with where I live. Derpy, yeah, Discord would be cool to have. You sent it. Oh, another. Ooh, okay. I'll check that out after the stream. Yeah, no problem, Hazel. You're very welcome. I'm always happy to meet new friends. Yeah, I got it, Hazel. Alright, okay, where was I? Okay, I think I was right here. I turned around without even knocking on the door, and I left. No one had come in, and the music was playing loudly, so I doubt they would have heard me anyways. I shouldn't have been there in the first place. Maybe I saw them watching me from the window, maybe I didn't. Maybe they were laughing at me as I drove away, flustered and embarrassed. Maybe they went back to the party and joked about the social retard who had seemingly freaked out and run away from their house while I went home and cried in the shower. Maybe. Jessica listened as I told her the story. She smiled sadly as I started to cry into her shoulder. All those feelings I had experienced outside of my coworker's house came rushing back. All that fear, foolishness, and fatalistic failure, they just smashed into me like waves on the shore. She whispered soothing words into my ear and waited for me to collect myself. Once I did, she pulled away and told me that it wasn't my fault. It was there under the moonlight, with her face inches away from mine, that I did the worst thing that I have ever done in my life. I kissed her. It was slow, hesitant, romantic. I looked into her eyes and I saw her beautiful face. She pulled me towards her as she leaned back, lost in the moment. I held her against me while telling her all the things I should have said when I first met her, and realized that I loved her. I held her like that for a few moments, afraid that if I let her go, I would lose this perfect moment. She was warm. She smelled like wildflowers. She smelled like happiness. For the first time in what felt like a lifetime, I felt comfortable and content. I don't know when I drifted off, but I do remember waking up. In the love-drunk excitement of the previous night, I didn't think once about Ian or the consequences of my decision. I only thought about Jessica, and I forgot that she was his girlfriend. What I did last night was a beautiful mistake. I convinced her to cheat on him with me. I needed to tell him before the truth came out. I needed him to understand how I felt. I got up from the ground and stretched. Jessica was gone. I assumed she had gone back to her sleeping role in the middle of the night. I walked over to Ian, who was just waking up. He rubbed the sleep out of his eyes and asked me if I stayed up all night. The words bled out of me, and once they started, I couldn't stop. I don't know what happened, man. We were just talking one moment, and then the next. Oh, Jesus, I didn't mean for it to happen. You know I love you, man. I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. It just happened, and now I can't take it back. Jessica's cry of surprise cut me off before I could go any further. Both me and Ian turned to the sound of her distress, and we knew instantly what had happened. The backpacks with our compass, food, the water had been stolen. Oh no, yeah, Beans, listening to the smut part, like, I was honestly expecting it to do a transformation, like in the middle of it, where he realized it was one of the creatures. That's kind of what I was thinking was gonna happen. Yeah, something definite. I mean, I'm convinced that that wasn't the real Jessica. I think that was one of the creatures. It knew. Don't you see it, goddammit? It knew that we could identify it without a backpack, and it couldn't shape its skin to take the appearance of one, so it stole them away from us. Now, the next time it wormed its way into our group, we wouldn't be any the wiser. Jessica and I never talked that night. Jessica had never left my brother's side that night. They had zipped their sleeping rolls together. She didn't open up to me about her worries, and I never actually kissed her. I poured my heart out to a thing wearing Jessica's skin while it was in my arms. I confessed my truest feelings to an ersatz entity masquerading as a person. I felt sick. The others woke up quickly after hearing Jessica screaming. We quickly searched around the area, hoping to find some scrap of food or some indication of where our stuff had been taken to. We found nothing. It was long gone. We had no food, no water, and no hope. We had no way of telling when one of those things was hijacking our heads and pretending to be part of our group, so it could distract us. With our compass gone, we had no means of following a set direction and hoping to pick the trail back up. In short, we were screwed with a capital S. Alright, I think I just got a message from Nate. Let me see here. Oh, well, Nate, if you're still in the chat, oh wait, looks like you might have, oh, okay, well, Derpy's coming. So Nate, I will need to friend you in VR chat, so if you're listening, send me a friend request in VR chat and I will accept it. It's going to be the same name. Well, I mean, same as the Twitch name. So you can just find me with it. Let me know if you need some help, though. Bro kissed the disgusting monster. Yeah, that's what I was thinking was gonna happen. Oh, hi, Derpy. Wanna pop a squat somewhere? Yeah, get cozy by the fire and listen to the story. I think I want to do this more often with the story nights. I was thinking about it earlier actually, so it's kind of funny that it got brought up. Uh, but yeah, I'm thinking maybe that'll be a subscriber perk that you get to come into like the story worlds. Among other things, I've still got a lot of other stuff in the works for all of that. But yeah, like I said, very much a work in progress, but I like it as a subscriber reward. All right, let me send a message to Nate because I don't know if he was actually listening in chat. Beautiful crow. Yeah, he's my little eldritch abomination crow. We love him dearly. All right. So let's see. Oh no. Nate. Okay. So, you know what, Nate? It might be easier to do this outside of stream because I don't know how long it'll take, and then we can get you in next time. You'll just be sitting by the fire eating leftover birthday. Oh my gosh! Share your birthday cake. Fair. Yeah. But I'll help you out with it. I don't know. You have my Discord, so we'll be in touch. For now, let's get this story. You're fine. You don't want cake beans? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's fair. All right. Let's continue our story. We're getting really close, I think. Oh. Okay, not as close as I thought. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. We got a lot. Okay. That being the case, let me take a quick pause to go to the bathroom and everything. Weird Aspens, thank you for joining. I really like that name. You caught me when I'm just about to take a quick break. I'm going to put up the stream transition screen. Or actually, Nate, Derpy might be able to help you out too with joining if you're up for it, Derpy. But yeah, I will be right back. Y'all hydrate me, so I need to go to the bathroom, and we still have a lot of story left. Yeah, if you can do that, Derpy, that'd be great. And I will put this screen on, and I will be back in just a couple minutes. Yeah, thank you again for the follow, Aspen. I'm sorry I'm leaving for a second right after you followed. All right, I am back. That was very much needed, let me tell you. I swear, ever since, which one? I was on the flipped, right? Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, I need to click VR chat. There we go. Derpy. Oh, you're so adorable. Oh, thank you. Welcome back. Oh, you're playing with the username colors, Beans? Yeah, I usually like to have mine as pink or teal. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Hazel, if you are still here, you could also send me a friend request on Discord that I'll accept. It's just it's the same name as my Twitch username, but with no space. Derpy staring down. Yep, Derpy's keeping guard over my body. When I leave my virtual presence, I leave my body unprotected. That's why I have my Eldritch Abomination Crow. All right, let's continue this story. Yeah, and everything going all right with... Yes, Derpy protects me from the Fleshgaits. They can't imitate an Eldritch Abomination Crow. That's just science. All right. Off we go. Oliver demanded to know what I was doing last night. He wanted... Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, this is where we were. He wanted to know how I could be so careless as to fall asleep when I should have been watching over them and our gear. I lied and told him that someone had come around in the middle of the night to relieve me from my shift. I didn't mention that it was one of those things impersonating Jessica. I couldn't bear to look either my brother or his girlfriend in the eyes at that point. Oliver started to yell but stopped when he saw I was on the verge of tears. I don't know if it was mercy or disgust that caused him to stop. It doesn't matter either way. We gathered up the only thing that they hadn't taken in the night, our sleeping rolls, and continued walking. The hike without water or the prospect of food was unbearable. We were already exhausted, and the realization that we were soon going to be starving and dehydrated only served to sap more of our energy. Within a few hours, my mouth felt gummy and dry. While we were still under the canopy of leaves... Sorry, there, I just had to get a menu out of the way. While we were still under the canopy of leaves, the temperature was still in the high 80s and low 90s. It didn't take long for dehydration to set in. I kept licking my lips in an attempt to keep them moist, but I could feel them beginning to crack as my saliva began to dry up. As we walked, Oliver picked up his pace and caught up with me. I mean, can we really blame him? I mean, we can blame him more for the Jessica thing, I think, Beans, but, like, when he gave the map before, like, we really can't blame him for that. Like, anyone could have made that mistake. I looked over at him and knew without him saying anything that another one of those things had joined our group. He whispered, "Don't look directly at it. Just keep it in the corner of your eyes. I think that's how it messes with your mind. It would explain why you remember that guy that night, but the rest of us can't. You saw him, but the rest of us didn't. Don't get close. Just keep it in the corner of your eyes. It's been trailing us for about half an hour now. I think it just wants to watch and follow us." I pretended to be cracking my neck and looked at the tag along with in my peripheral vision. It trailed behind us by about half a dozen feet. In its resting state, its facial features appeared staticky. I could make out eyes and a nose, but it was constantly shifting and rippling like bubbling plastic. At this point, we were too tired to even bother with chasing it off. We just kept walking and hoped it wouldn't try to join the group. It seemed content to keep its distance and keep us in its line of sight. It followed us for about 2 miles before it broke off towards the trees with a shambling, awkward gait. Didn't remember Jerry not existing either. Yeah, frickin' Jerry. Derpy. Oh, this isn't Friends Plus. Can't. Yeah, if Nate sends me a friend request, I can accept it, and then I'll bring him in with the invite. And just let me know, Derpy. We were too tired to even try and set up a shift system. We just huddled together in an attempt to convince ourselves that we were safer when we were closer together. But every time one of us got comfortable enough to drift off, those things would start making noises. The noises started off as high-pitched yips whose sounds seemed to travel for miles. As the night drew on, they grew more aggressive. I remember one time, as I was drifting off, hearing the grating rasp of my name. Evan. The things weren't just following us. They were learning. They were perfecting their mimicry. And the thought disturbed me more than the idea of them out there watching us in the darkness. How long would it take them to become more human than human? What would they do once they were capable of walking amongst people again? I drifted off to sleep with that thought beating around in my head like a man trapped inside a wall. You're kind of scared to get up. Oh, Beans, don't be scared. They're not real. You can do it. We got up on Tuesday morning and left without a word. At this point, there was nothing left to say. Some of us had been awake all night without any food or water. The constant stress had completely worn us down. We continued hiking in the same direction we had been going, in the false hope that we would come across someone. In the end, our hike looked more like a death march. My feet were covered in blisters that had ruptured and plastered the soles of my feet to my socks. Every step felt like it was tearing open the wounds a bit more. In an attempt to take my mind off the discomfort, I focused on my brother, who was walking in front of me. He wasn't as much walking as he was limping forward. He had stopped using his walking stick and was dragging it behind him like it was a broken limb. I watched as he stepped over a rock and the walking stick slipped out of his hand. He kept dragging himself forward as if nothing had happened. He didn't even register it falling out of his hands. It was at that point that I knew something was wrong. I knew that my brother wasn't my brother anymore. I quietly picked up his stick as I passed. Amy went to call out to him and ask if he was all right, but I shushed her. I was so sure that one of those things had replaced him and was now leading us deeper into the woods. I realized that I would only have one chance at this. The instant it knew that we knew, it would try and run away. All it would take was one good swing to the back of its head, and we would be able to take out one of those things. The stick had a bit of weight to it, about 5 or 6 pounds, enough to crack open a skull if it was swung hard enough. I began walking faster while trying to avoid the underbrush that might give away my approach. The thing wearing my brother's skin continued limping forward as I drew closer. I waited until I was within swinging distance before raising the stick above my head. My heart was beating, and my palms were so sweaty that it felt like the stick would slide right out of my hands. It kept on moving forward, completely unaware of what I was about to do to it. I whispered, "I'm sorry," just before I swung the stick down with all my strength. Ian turned to face me as he mumbled groggily, "Sorry for what?" My muscles locked and I stopped mid-swing, and the stick stopped just inches away from his face. He blinked in surprise before muttering, "Evan, what's wrong?" His voice sounded distant and empty, like he was in between a waking and deep and sleep state. It was then that I knew the extent of his condition. He was pale and looked like the slightest breeze would blow him over. He wasn't one of those things. He was delirious from dehydration, sleep deprivation, and starvation. The walking stick fell out of my hands and bounced on the ground next to us. I dragged my tongue across my lips, and it felt like I was licking sandpaper. I whimpered, "Jesus, Ian, I thought you were one of those things. I almost... Oh, God, I'm so sorry." He didn't react to my apology. He just turned around and continued walking in the direction we were going in. Amy just watched everything unfold numbly before she started following him. Oliver shook his head sadly, but he didn't look any better. His eyes were glazed and his lips were cracked and red from rubbing at them. I watched my brother shambling forward, and it reminded me of one of those old voodoo movies where someone is put into a trance and forced to work until they die from exhaustion. His mouth hung open, and he moved like he was being dragged along on puppet strings. I picked up the walking stick and began to follow them. I wondered how much longer he had left in him, and what any of us could do if he just fell over and stopped walking. I wondered how much longer any of us had. Let's see. Someone is... I think a lot of people are dying tonight, Beans. Hello, Vex. It's good to see you. So you're not a first-time chatter, but I don't remember your name. But I hope you're having a good time, enjoying the stream, and having a wonderful day. Let's see, where was I? There we are. I don't know how long we walked. Everything melted together in a muddled malaise at the time. I remember losing my footing and tripping a few times, but I barely felt it. The third time, I didn't even realize I was laying on the ground until Jessica stepped on me as she passed by. There was no apology. She was too far gone to recognize what she had stepped on. I dragged myself to my feet and felt lightheaded, but continued putting one foot in front of the other. The fifth time I fell, I wondered if it would have been better to just lay down and wait to die. An excited yacht behind me from one of those things drove me to my feet. It wasn't until we bumped into the sign for Little Bear Canyon that I realized how close we were to salvation. Alright. Sorry, I'm just gonna get Nate in here real quick. There you are. Perfect. Should be good to join, Nate. All right. There we are. The post for Little Bear Canyon also had a branching sign that pointed in the direction for TJ Corral, which was only a few miles from where we started at the Gila Cliff dwellings, if we walked along Route 15. Ian was headed in the right direction, and we were almost home free. In my excitement, I began calling to the others to let them know that the end was near. I looked around me and shouted, "Jessica, Ian, Oliver, Heather, Amy, I know where we need to..." The words died on my lips as I counted the names and realized it wasn't over yet. The others kept moving as if they hadn't heard me talking. The imposter shuffled alongside us, and for once it was easy to identify them. I don't know whether or not they had let down their guard after seeing our conditions, but this one was obvious. She moved slowly, but her movements didn't convey her exhaustion. Everyone else was sweating and looking like the Walking Dead, but she was fine. I waited for her to get close enough to follow the trail the others were going down before I raised Ian's walking stick and growled, "Turn around right fucking now. I can see you." Oh, I don't see you, Nate, if you're here. Oh my gosh, there you are, Nate. Hi. Kirby has joined the story time. You can come in, pop a squat, hang out. It's good to oh my gosh, I can't. There we go. It's good to see you. Come on over. And after this, we can maybe do a little bit to... Oh my gosh. Can maybe do a little bit to get you acclimated. Oh my gosh, are you actually squishy? Nice, nice. All right. I will give you a proper hello once the stream is done. Right. Where were we? Yeah, Nate is really Kirby, and now you all know. So when it talks about these people like doing their shambling walks, it kind of reminds me of that scene in Fantasia where all the dinosaurs are just like dropping one by one in the desert. Yeah, Nate's grooving. She turned around slowly, and I felt my heart skip a beat. She looked almost exactly like Jessica, except for a brown tinge to her hair. She could have been her twin. I knew what it was planning before it even opened its mouth and asked, "What are you doing, Evan?" "Don't call me that," I winced. "What are you rambling about? Please move out of the way. We're almost safe from those things." "I know what you are." Heather turned white at the realization. She began speaking quickly. "I'm not one of those things. Please, Evan, you have to remember. There were 6 of us. Those things want us to think there were only 5 so they can take one of us with them. Take one of us without the others caring. Those things don't want us at all. They only want the weakest one. Please, let's go before they catch..." "Shut up," I snapped. I raised the walking stick in my hand and brandished it at her. "Think about it, Evan. Do I move like one of those things? Do I speak like them? That should be enough to prove I'm human." "No, Ian's my brother. Jessica's his girlfriend. I'm your girlfriend. I sat on your lap on the car ride. Please don't kill me. Evan, I love you. Don't you remember? Evan, I love you." I lowered the stick that was in my hand as memories bombarded me. I had met her one night when my brother forced me to go out to a club with him. Heather had been sitting at the bar all night drinking. It wasn't until she tried to stand up and fell into my arms that we actually talked. I remembered lazy Sundays in bed, watching cheesy B sci-fi movies. I remembered holding her close to me after making love and hearing her whisper sweet nothings into my ear. I remembered our life together. I rasped, Heather, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Only 5. Never forget. Never forget, chat. Only 5. Oh, Nate, did you say something? You are a lonely hobbit. Don't forget that. Oh, you found the chat box, Nate? Just so you know, the text does not show up on the stream unless I'm looking through my eyes. Right. She cooed, Heaven, it's not your fault. She went to touch me, and I sprang back like I had been bitten by a snake. The instant I heard those words, I knocked. The stick caught her unaware in the side of her face. I felt her jaw give way under the sudden force of my attack. She burbled through broken teeth. The second strike dented her temple as the temporal bone shattered. She kept trying to talk, but it was too late and too much damage had been done. The door was shut to me now. I kept swinging the walking stick down on her head until it splintered and snapped. I looked up from her twitching body and saw my brother watching me in horror. Heather, oh my God. I spoke through gritted teeth and regarded him with red-rimmed eyes. Come on, we have to go. He went to keep talking, but I walked past him. I didn't want to explain it to him. He eventually ran ahead, invigorated with the prospect of finding rescue on the road. I looked behind me one last time. The last thing I saw was one of those things dragging away Heather's corpse. It looked emaciated and half mad with starvation. At that very moment, I wasn't afraid of that thing. I just felt pity. Whether or not it forced that emotion on me, I'll never know. I turned away and caught up with the others on Route 15. We were on the road for 15 minutes before we managed to flag down a car and an ambulance was called for us. The doctors said that our exposure to the elements, combined with our starvation and dehydration, triggered the auditory and visual hallucinations we experienced. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Nate, you're big. Derpy, in hindsight, it really makes sense that Nate turns out to be Kirby. Loves food, incredibly durable, pretty nice, secretly a god of destruction. Oh my gosh, that is very accurate. That's canon now. Nate's a Kirby. That's all there is to it. Oh, yeah, no, you're fine, Nate. Figure things out. Beans, Nate is a unit. Okay, it's the typical response you'd be given after hearing our half-dead ramblings about creatures warping their flesh and our memories to drive us to the brink of death so they could prey on us when we were at our weakest. We spent a week there while receiving treatments, recounting our horrific experiences, and then subsequent psyche evaluations before we were released. If you ever get VR chat, you're 100% gonna be a rat. Oh my gosh, Adam Crow, thank you for the raid. I really appreciate it. Oh, I need to bring you closer. My gosh. Here we go. Hello, hello, welcome raiders. It's good to see you. Figured it was about time to return the favor. Oh, well, you never have to feel pressured to repay anything. Derpy, can you give a shout out to Adam Crow? If any of you in chat have not checked him out yet, be sure to, because he is a really fun streamer to watch. He does a lot of different fun things, like flipping a coin to make decisions for more morality-based games and stuff like that. And honestly, he's just a really nice guy, and he's got a great voice. So go ahead and give him a watch sometime when you see him on. Give him a follow, and I hope all you raiders enjoy spending a little time here. We are in the middle of Spooky Scary Story Sunday. We are reading a creepypasta called Fleshgait that has been very interesting, and we're getting really close to the end. So if you don't want spoilers, I won't be offended if you want to, take off and, not ruin it for yourself. But it is definitely worth reading if you're into horror. Aw, Adam. No, it's true. I really enjoy watching you. I wish I had more time to spend watching streams. I feel bad because I'll raid people and then usually only spend a little bit of time with them. But yeah, you really are a wonderful streamer, and I don't understand why people, why you don't have a larger audience most of the time when I see you. Oh no, you got too scared to get water beans. The dance thing working. But yeah, let's, but then again, you're a bit on the scaredy cat. Oh, I can be kind of a scaredy cat too, but if I have even one other person, oh my gosh, I pressed the wrong thing. If I have even one person with me, I get like way braver. But yeah, let's get you back over there and we'll continue this story. We gotta see what happens. We're almost to the end. Alright. Oh yeah, and for the raiders, we also do some different things every week. If you look in the About section, you can kind of see a layout of what I like to do each of the days I stream. Today is always a creepy story, like a creepypasta or an SCP article. Sometimes we do some analog horror that we just watch together. I'm thinking next week we might watch Nosferatu since it's in the public domain, but I'm not 100% on that yet. Adam, thank you so much. You truly appreciate it and appreciate having you there in the streams when you can. Totally feel you on needing more time to watch other streamers, not enough. There really isn't, and there's so many wonderful people out there who stream. Like, I get way too involved with so many things, and then I get, I just keep making more friends in like VR chat and stuff, and I want to hang out with all of them. So yeah, it's hard to balance all that with regular adult work needs, just chores. But yeah, let's finish this story. I hope you all enjoy it. I get distracted very easily. I'm sorry. Where were we? Okay. He went to keep talking, but I walked past him. Oh wait, did we? No, we read that. Sorry, I just need to find my place. Dead ramblings. Okay, there. We spent a week there while receiving treatments, recounting our horrific experiences, and then subsequent psych evaluations before we were released. I tried to talk to the others about it. Ian and Jessica refused to talk with me about it. I don't really know Oliver or Amy, so that's off the table too. Ooh, I like the blue, Nate. They just want to forget. I can't forget. Here's the thing. I still remember Nadia asking me to help her find the lighter. I recall staying up late and talking with her by the campfire while she smoked like a chimney. I can recite Jerry's terrible puns that he'd make about almost everything, and Lucas's determination at hiking this trail while slowly succumbing to the effects of his multiple sclerosis. I can recall whispering sweet nothings to Jessica under the glow of the full moon. I can still envision that moment clear as day, even months later. I know the conversation we had, word for word. I can remember the feeling of her skin against mine, and the smell of her hair as I pressed myself against it when I reached that one true moment of connectivity. I remember Heather pleading and begging me not to kill her. Despite writing this all months later, I can see all those things clearly. Sometimes late at night, I can even remember driving up to Gila National Park with Heather sitting in my lap, playfully grinding against me and telling me how fun our hike was going to be. Sometimes I think about that memory more than I should. And Blue Boy. Yeah, the blue was really nice, Beans. I liked that. Oh my gosh, Donzi, I missed your message. Hello, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in chat for a while. How are you? Derpy, you're perfectly glaring at the camera. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's nice that you can change the colors on that. Oh my gosh, we're almost there. Since I can't talk to my brother or Jessica about this, I had to find some other outlet. I guess I'm writing all this for that one reason. Catharsis. In the end, I keep wondering if what I did was right. Did I make the right choice? I want you to read this and tell me that I had no other option. That the risk of them escaping into the city forced my hand. I know that's not the case. I could have walked away or tried to scare her off, but I didn't. What kind of person can look into someone's eyes, remember all the things they did and the life they had, and do what I did? Who can have all those memories and end everything so callously? It doesn't matter if none of it was real, because in that moment, it was to me. Who can look at someone and feel such love for them before you kill them? The answer to that question is simple. Now that I ask myself aloud, I just don't like the answer. Evan. And that's the end. I really quite liked that story. Except for, like we said, the excessive wordiness and kind of very specific and out of place metaphors. I guess I can close that window. We just need Streamlabs up at this point. What's up, Derpy? Oh, so for those of you who don't know, Derpy and Nate are both mutes in here, so they are using chat boxes that you guys can't see, but I can. Derpy, yeah, besides the weird metaphors and excessively verbose lexico, it was pretty good. Yeah, I completely agree, but what did you all think? Oh, I need to pull y'all closer. What did you all think about it? Because I like to see what you guys like and what you don't, because then I can, pick better stories. You can speak just at, oh yeah, no, that's totally fine and, works out perfectly, Nate. Let me catch up on Beans. Blue Boy. Oh, or a door-to-door salesman. That was good. Had a bunch of fun. Yeah, I was a little worried at first because of how, it kind of just dragged on. Oh, hi Aspens, you are still here. Let's do a quick stretch. All right. We're all done with our story. We've been sitting too long. Gotta get all the blood flowing again. You all make sure you get up and stretch too if you have been sitting for a long time, which if you've been watching, that might be you. Oh my gosh, my balance is so bad. Joke's on y'all, you have a standing desk, Nate. Okay, I guess I really didn't think about that possibility. Personally, Derpy, you're mute because during story time your voice should be at, aw, well thank you. Yeah, I kind of envisioned that, oh my gosh, I pressed the wrong thing. I kind of envisioned that once I get it all figured to where I can have some subs come in here and, be present for story time if they want. I kind of figured they would mostly be mute because we don't want any more talking than what goes on in chat, because we already get distracted enough trying to read our stories and play games. I am very easily distracted. You did stretch like 10 minutes ago because, oh my gosh, you just bought time to do the bathroom. That's actually pretty clever though, Beans. Yeah, if we were all talking, you'd no, I would never finish a story, Derpy, if everyone was talking. But that's what we have our Monday sessions for. Mondays are where we usually do like miscellaneous social stuff in VR. And, that's just kind of anything goes. Oh, that's tomorrow too. I forgot it was Sunday. Oh my gosh, Beans, no, you do not need to apologize for talking. I love seeing you guys chat in stream. I love you lurkers as well. Like, whenever I, get excited about people talking in chat, don't take that as anything like I don't want lurkers. I love lurkers. I used to be a lurker. I'm still very much a lurker. Small gang. Yes, you are, Nate. I got the small boys next to me. But yeah, seriously, Beans, I love it when you guys have fun and chat. Like, that's what I wanted this for. I wanted to make a community that people could hang out and meet other people and find a little bit of social acceptance if they don't really have it elsewhere. Derpy, we meant actually, oh yeah, we were more referring to talking on stream, but I do still get very, very distracted by all of you in chat in a good way. I love getting distracted and going off on tangents. I just stopped the story so much because you just kept oh my gosh, no, you're fine. What I've tried to do with the narrations is I try to acknowledge chat like every other paragraph or so. I at least try to stop at the end of a paragraph instead of in the middle of one, because then I lose my place even more. I need to drink some water. Give me just a minute. Yeah. Nate actually does squish. I'll show you guys. If I walk on Nate in his Kirby avatar, I squish him. Gosh, these reading streams always take a lot out of me voice-wise. I love doing them though. Stories and especially horror are... I just love them. They're the best. Okay, so let's go to pin number 3. That way we can give you guys a better view. All right. We see before us the Oh, thank you for demonstrating, Derby. I was going to go step on him, but that works even better. You see how the dirt bird steps on the Kirby and squishes it. The Kirby does not seem to mind. It is just part of daily life in nature. Some of the dirt birds have even been known to nest inside a flattened Kirby. This is not good for the flattened Kirby because eventually they will perish. But the dirt bird finds it to be a very suitable nest. I could have been Richard Attenborough, couldn't I? Or David Attenborough. Richard Attenborough is John Hammond from Jurassic Park. Beans. Thanks, everyone. Other people just either ignore you. Oh, sorry, Beans. Yeah, I always try to acknowledge everyone. I don't want anyone to feel left out. As long as you're nice and courteous. Oh my gosh, look at these two. You like, did you say you likely smell like mochi? I could actually see that now. Kirby, in that color at least, does kind of look like a mochi. But yeah, Beans, you are always welcome to talk. All of you are always welcome to talk. Even if you've been a lurker the whole time you've been here and you just decide you want to, say one word out of the blue, you're totally welcome to, and there's no pressure to continue talking or anything. Enjoy this stream however you want to. That's all I want for you guys. I just want you guys to have a good time here. I mean, preferably I will have a good time here as well, but I don't think you'll have a good time if I don't have a good time, so that's kind of a prerequisite. But, it's kind of past when I would usually get off of stream, but, I kind of don't want to yet. I think I kind of want to just hang out here a bit longer. Let's get ourselves... Oh my gosh, where am I? I am not where I thought I was in my play space. Let's turn this around. Now, there. Now you can see all of us, mostly, when Kirby doesn't hide. Right. I was going to talk about the subscriber stuff. Oh, which one, Beans? Oh, with not knowing where I was in my play space. Yeah, I was totally fine. I just bumped into I think it was my desk. I do it all the time. Don't worry, I'm durable. This is actually my second headset and third cable. Thankfully, I didn't have to pay for the second headset and cable. I did have to pay for the third cable though, because the warranty was over. It's really hard to be like very mobile in VR, without stepping on the cord, unless you have wireless, which I don't. Oh no, Beans, were you... did you have any lasting damage from that, or any, like, you know, anything break and stuff? Oh, but subscriber rewards. So, I've still been trying to figure out what I want to do, and I mentioned one earlier where, you know, I can have subscribers come in and hang out during story time. But what I also want to... Oh, you haven't broken a single thing ever? Make sure you knock on wood, Beans. I don't want you jinxing yourself, okay? I also kind of want to do a couple, like, subscriber-only special days. So, like, we could have one where it's like a meet and greet social gaming sort of thing with subscribers, and that one could be streamed. And then we could have another one where it's more just a chill social, like, bar session where I can serve y'all drinks. And I guess we could do the maid cafe also. I guess it depends on whether you all would rather see me in this avatar or the maid avatar. This one, though, I haven't shown you guys. I actually have a really cute dress with this avatar. Let me show you. Just need to anchor this here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Friend-shaped. Now you're both balls. Yes, you are. Okay. Let me show off the dress. But this is, I don't wear this as often. It's usually just like when I'm at a club or a bar or something in VR. But it's really cute, right? I love this dress so much. It's adorable. Thank you, Derpy. Derpy just said it looks good. All three are good? Like, all three of us? All three avatars? Yes. But, then, you know, I do also really like... Oh, yeah. Wanted to show... Oh, never mind. I do also really like the maid outfit that I usually wear for when we do our maid cafe streams, because this one's really fun too. And I know it's, you know, maybe a little more scandalous, but this is very mild as far as VR chat is concerned. So, you know, I'm not too bothered by it. I forgot. Yeah, you were hiding in the ball. Beans, you think you've seen the maid normal story time one? And now you've seen the dress. Yeah, I think that's the first time I've actually worn the dress on stream, because I usually only wear it, you know, when I'm just hanging out doing, you know, the club type stuff in VR chat. I need to go to more VR chat clubs. Yeah, when you're... It's easy to forget you're crouching sometimes, although I don't ever do, what's it called? Desktop mode. Alright, let's get back to my normal avatar. But, heck, you guys don't get to see me in the dress that often. We'll wear the dress for a while. My gosh. My brain is going in so many different directions. I forgot what I was gonna say. What was I talking about? I don't know. Like I said, easily distracted. Oh my gosh. You're a little low now. I can't give you head pats as easily. Gonna grab water? Sure thing, Nate. But yeah, I want to do more social things in VR chat again. I was for a while and I got a little burnt out on it, but I'm kind of getting back into it. I've actually I started doing some body acting in VR. So there subscriber stuff. Oh, yeah, I was talking about subscriber stuff. Those are kind of the main things I was thinking of for subscriber rewards, though, is being able to pop in for like the regular story time streams and having oh my gosh. Okay, maybe not the dress. It's very easy to flash and I move my legs a lot. Oh my gosh. Um Oh my gosh, I think my brain is fried. I should probably end stream pretty soon. Ooh, we're really close to 3 hours. Maybe we'll push it for 13 minutes. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah. Nice to see you back, Nate. But those 2 special days, the social gaming day, the bar day, or cafe day, and special access to story time. And if you guys have any other ideas of things you want to see for like subscriber rewards, like what would convince you guys that, it's worth it? Because I feel bad for people like spending money for a subscription, and I just want to make sure it's a really good value for you guys. So yeah, I don't know what I can offer you that you guys want, because I don't want to lock anything behind a paywall either. I want everyone to be able to get like all the emotes and stuff, but I can't do that. I don't have any animated slots for just followers. Beans, you're pretty sure if you ever got like the full VR headset, and the tracking and stuff, you'd forget and just like do the most random stuff. So yeah, I totally recommend it if it's something you think you'd be into. For me, the transgender stuff definitely played a role in it, because when I first saw someone like on a stream, it was like a guy streamer. I think he was named Whoops. I don't know what became of him. I haven't watched him in years. But I saw him in, a girl's avatar, and I was like, oh my God, I can like have a girl body. And so I was like, I need this game, but I didn't have a computer at a time, much less VR. So I just kind of sat with it, but then it finally got to the point where I was just like, no, I need to do this. And I spent so much money, like over $2,000 for. Actually, it was probably closer to 3,000, I think, for a VR compatible computer, the VR headset, the full body tracking. It was Oh, you're using an HP laptop, a 6-year-old HP laptop, Nate? Yeah, like VR chat can be a pretty intensive game depending on what worlds you go to. Um, oh, Derpy, yeah, that would be. I would love some more still emotes, because I want all the followers who aren't subs to be able to use them too. And I gotta keep gifting you subs. Do you know, can I gift subs ahead of time? Like, because you already have the gifted sub, could I gift you one and then it stacks? You're using a 3K gaming laptop? Dang, sounds fancy. Think you've heard of doing that, Nate? Stacking the gifted subs? Okay, I'll have to look into it more. Just a reminder, I think it's starting August 1st. Twitch is increasing the price of tier 1 subs. Pre-existing subs can get renewed at the current price, but any new subs will be $1 more for tier 1. I think the other tiers are staying the same, but just so you have that heads up, if you're thinking of, subscribing to someone, you should do it now. Well, save $1. I know that's not much, but every little bit, right? 3,000 American dollars is 54,686. That is crazy. You can't stand still, Beans. I mean, as you can see from me in VR, I usually don't stand very still either. I'm usually moving around, or if I have someone in front of me that I'm talking to, I am always giving like the head pats and face traces and stuff. It's not just you guys. I'm sorry. You're not special in that regard. Derpy, you looked it up, and yeah, you can get perfect. I will probably do that for you sometime soon, Derpy, then, to repay you for all the emotes you've done. Like, by the way, if any of you don't know, all of our emotes were made by Derpy, our wonderful mod, who does way more for this channel than I could have ever hoped for. Like, I have the camera like right here in front of me, but it's just like the visual part. The actual camera is like way down there. And so I keep trying to give the little square camera head pats, and it's not working very well. Your current okay, so good. There's time. I mean, I'll definitely do it before August is over, because I wanna save that money. I ain't spending an extra $1 that I don't have to. Derpy is the super bird. Yeah, Derpy's amazing. I really got super lucky in Ryan, passing him along to me. The Eldritch bird. Yes, the Eldritch abomination bird. Nate, Derpy is honestly one of, if not the most... No, like, this channel would not be anywhere near what it is without Derpy's support. He's been here for, I don't know, almost every stream since he first came, if not every stream. And, on that note, none of you ever have to feel obligated to catch a stream. Like, if you catch one stream, follow, and then I never see you again, I'll miss you, but do whatever is right for you. I only want you to watch if you want to watch. See, I'm doing it again. I just habitually go for the pets. Was the first stream like just the three? Yeah, it was, I think the first stream y'all came in on was it the one with the chess game, that horror world with the chess game and the mannequins and the paintings? It was like a horror puzzle world. And I think the main people in chat were you, Sawi, Foxroll was there, I think. Nate was there, and I totally mispronounced his name. I called him Swagnet for the whole stream. And Bobo might have been there for a while. But I don't remember that. Yeah, I got Won't believe what did happen today. Like on Ryan's stream. I was there for some of it, but I was trying to juggle like 3 different things and it wasn't working. Oh my gosh. He actually just said swag Nate, not swagger Nate. Oh my gosh. That is a miracle. Oh, that's another thing. If any of you have not checked out Hobo Ryan's channel, you should definitely give him a look because he's a good friend of mine, and when I met him, I didn't realize that he was like actually a really popular YouTuber. He's got like 37,000 subscribers on YouTube now or something. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, he's actually like good at this. And he kind of helped me out. Maybe, I don't know, is it? Yeah, definitely check. I could be way off. But yeah, he's helped me out so much, and he's just a great guy. Today's actually his birthday, and it was I had to gift him some subs because I wouldn't be here without him helping me out. Oh my gosh, almost at 40K? Dang. Yeah, so Ryan's at 39.2K subs on YouTube. He does mostly React stuff. I don't know if y'all are into that, but he's been like my stream mentor in a way. He let me accompany him on one of his streams before I started like actually streaming for myself, and that helped a lot. He showed me how to do things. I wouldn't be here without him either. So I don't know if I'll ever feel like I've repaid him enough. Beans, you want to watch. The only problem is, yeah, you have the unfortunate time zone for when I stream, you being in a completely different continent. Oh, I stand the same way you do, Beans. Thing is, you really don't know why you stand like that. Saw your mom do it once, and now it's ingrained in your brain. So, like, you mean like with the hip to the side, that sort of stand, or just like the waviness? Because, yeah, the hip to the side is very much something I've done for a long time, and one of my legs is actually longer, just by a little bit, than the other one, so I wonder if that's part of why I do that. The hip thing, yeah, it's just more comfortable. Like I don't know, it's relaxing. You can kind of just like shift your weight and not have to worry about it. Well, you know what? I think it's time to end things. We're just about at 3 hours. I need to go eat dinner still, and it is, oh wow, almost 7 o'clock. I need to get some trackers charged too, because I don't know if I'm going to need them for socializing after dinner. We'll see. But it was wonderful talking with all of you all. Here, let me bring you closer again. That's better. I need to give you all the, head pats and face rubs. All those silly little VR ASMR things, or visual ASMR things that I love to do. Oh no, VR chat crashed. Well, I mean, I'm still okay. As long as you all are seeing this, I guess, but I don't know. Oh no, now I'm the sole survivor. Everyone else was taken. Everyone was abducted. Yeah, good night, Beans. I hope you all, wherever you are, have a wonderful rest of your day. And, go eat some good food. go get some good sleep. Make sure you stay hydrated. Thank you again, Adam Crow, if you're still here for the raid. I mean, thank you even if you're not here. And all you raiders, if any of you are still here too. I always appreciate having people check me out, whether they decide to follow or not. It's just good to be able to entertain people for a little bit and maybe make their day a little better. So yeah, good night everyone. I love you all. Hugs. And that is it. I will see you tomorrow if you choose to return for some social gaming. Scarlett and I are going to play Lethal Company. And maybe we'll have some other people. I don't know yet. I need to check to make sure if Scarlett still wants to play it as well. Oh, you're still here, Adam? Just lurking. Aw, yeah, thank you. I'm glad you stopped by. Thank you again for the raids so much. I really appreciate it. But yeah, join us tomorrow. It'll be earlier. 2 o'clock Mountain Time, which would be 4 o'clock Eastern Time for the US. If you're interested in watching some Lethal Company, it'll be Scarlett's first time playing, so that should be kind of funny. And I think that's it. Yeah. I'm bad at goodbyes. That's a running theme here. I'll say goodbye for a really long time. Anyway, okay, bye again. Hug again. I'm leaving for real. Love y'all. Be good to each other. Eat good food. Get good sleep. Hydrate. All that good stuff. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.